Welcome to Computer Tech and More. We got another great one for you today. We're really taking a look at the SteelSeries Apex7 mechanical keyboard. This particular one has mechanical brown tactile switches, RGB lighting, looks like it comes with a wrist rest, OLED smart display. I don't actually personally care about that. What else? Aircraft grade aluminum, dynamic, per key illumination, magnetic wrist rest, sticker covering up stuff. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, first things first, it has a key or a wrist rest that comes in the box. So the packaging is, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I have taken a look at the SteelSeries Pro 2023 edition, and actually also currently looking at the Apex9. And well, this wrist rest is not as nice as what was on the Pro, but then again, this price point is a lot less. The top is a soft touch plastic. Bottom is plastic. It's very light. The magnets on the back, it's got some nice rubber feet on it. Should do more or less fine. All right, then we got the keyboard, and I can already tell that it's going to be a pretty significant step down from the other keyboards, and again, it's dictated in its price point, where the Apex7 is around like high 90s to around $115 depending on when you find it. The Apex9 is like $119, and the Apex Pro was like $180. So there's a pretty significant range in price there. But if you really want a detachable cable, so if this cable breaks, then you're kind of SOL. And wow, I haven't seen this since my old Alienware keyboard, where it needs 2 USB plugs just to power the darn thing. I don't know how I feel off that. That's not a great start. Most other keyboards only need 1 USB plug, so there's that right away. The cable does have nice cable management, I'll give them that. So you can just pop that out and plop it into the center if that's what you prefer. We're gonna leave that kind of right there. So then it's got one size feet. Looks fine. It's got USB pass-through, which is nice. I actually really like that feature, although it is USB-A, which actually in today's world is still good. But as time goes on, I would have preferred to see that USB-C, because USB-C is becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. Let's see, it's got a little OLED screen here. From my experience with the Pro, I don't really care about that. But if you have a use for it, then that's great for you. I'll see what it does and play around with it. We'll look at the settings, yada yada yada, all that kind of good stuff. That is a good magnetic pull on it. I mean, I can yank it off just fine, but you know, I'm pulling the keyboard with it, so that's pretty good. The magnets are nicely hidden right there. The top is probably aluminum with a plastic bottom. Let's see, how much keyboard flex? Actually, this one feels pretty stiff compared to well, I feel more something going on right there, but it feels stiffer, oddly less twisting motion compared to the Apex9 and the Pro. So that's kind of interesting. You can see the rigidity built into the plastic. That's what these little pulls are for. It adds extra strength down there. All right, now we're going to do a quick check of how the keys sound. I'm going to put my mic next to the keyboard. The switches feel pretty good. They don't feel particularly tactile to me, at least just whacking at it like this. But let's plug it into a computer, get RGB set up, and then we'll do a little gaming test, I guess. First things first, a quick note about this keyboard. When I have two plugged in, you'll see all the lights. If I unplug one, the USB port goes out. So you can use this with just one of the plugs. But if you want that USB pass-through, you do need both of those plugged in. Not sure how I feel about that. This is the basic overview of the GG software by SteelSeries. And any SteelSeries product you have will be listed here. So let's go ahead and click on the keyboard here. And let's zoom in. I do apologize for the distortion you see on the screen. I'm using my curved monitor because it's the screen hooked up to, or the computer hooked up to the keyboard, hooked up to the screen that we got going on. All right, when you click on the software, it'll basically come up like this, so you can adjust your key bindings, your meta bindings, your illumination. So I've already gone ahead and adjusted the keyboard to the color settings that I prefer other than this one. So to click on a key, you just click on it, and if you hold down Shift, you can select more than one at once, or you can always undo it, and you have a whole bunch of different effects. So you've got color shift, gradient, breathe, whole key presets. I personally prefer just a single color for each of my keys, and it has some preset colors over here, and you can use the color slider to whatever you like. I'm going to select orange in this case, and you can select what darkness, how much white you want, somewhere in the middle, so the grays, pretty much all standard with like a color wheel. So click OK, and immediately on the keyboard it adjusts the colors. Looks like my P is also a little off. Let's go quickly and adjust that. So clicking on color shift, you can select what colors you want it to shift between. Go over there, select the purple that I have it saved to, click close, click save, and it'll save your options. And here is the keyboard itself. Adjusting my camera a little bit. And these are the way the colors look. We're going to go back to the software. Apologize for the movement. All right. And then you have the OLED settings, which is the little screen up on the side. You can click on it. You can choose between light and dark. You can upload a profile, grid, invert, clear. So you can have your own little custom pixelated image on it. Personally, I think it's a gimmick. But if you have a use for it, then that's awesome. But I personally can't think of anything useful to do with it. So how do we compare a keyboard against something that we don't know? Well, we compare it against what we already have. So in my case, the keyboard that I use on a daily basis is my drop shift mechanical keyboard. It also features tactile switches, and right away when you look at these two keyboards, you can tell the lighting illumination on the SteelSeries is far brighter. They just seem to shine through the keys much more effectively, brighter than what we get on the Shift. Now, if you don't mind the more subtle lighting, then it's perfectly okay. You can also adjust the backlight on this to be dimmer, brighter, and it's not set up for that right away. So holding down that, and we can, do apples to apples. My X is the wrong color. Anyways, maybe I selected blue instead of purple. But you can, I have the colors set up to the equivalence between the two keyboards, particularly the reds and the orange. And I will say that I prefer the orange color on the SteelSeries Apex7 than to what I was able to generate on the drop shift. The blues here, I would say it doesn't really matter. And of course, why would you go with a 10 keyless keyboard? Well, one of the key things that I like about the Shift is that it's like a 96% keyboard, which means it's basically full size, missing a few features, but that's why. It's just a little bit smaller so that you have a little bit more desk space for, swinging your mouse around. Well, I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm a little disappointed in this keyboard, the fact that this USB port requires the dual plugs into the computer. It's just kind of unacceptable in this day and age. They could easily make a keyboard that's USB 3 with USB pass-through going through it and just have a tiny little controller in there, and it's dirt cheap to do. But this is what it is, and we're going to take a quick look at the OLED screen here. All right, by holding down this button for a little while, it allows you to get into the menus. So you've got the illumination, you got your presets, custom, brightness. This is back, this is forward. You have your macro keys, your profiles. So if you have several profiles for gaming or productivity or whatever. So let's say you're in at work mode and you just have all white lighting so you don't attract attention to yourself, and then all of a sudden you're gaming and you have all of your bright, crazy illumination going on. It just allows you to set up that sort of thing going on, and it looks like you can save profiles too. And then basic settings, whoops. Settings, so display, clicking that, timeout, brightness, about, factory reset is in there. Overall, I just think it's a gimmick. It's interesting, so you don't have to go into the software to adjust things, but I personally don't think that it's useful, and I'd rather them have better wiring on the USB and put in a hub than have that little screen. Here we are in the typing test. As a general reminder again, I am dyslexic and I'm typing at a weird angle. I have the foot rest in position, and I'm going to point the microphone at the keys so you can hear what the keys sound like as I'm typing away. Okay. Well, that was not my best typing. 97% accuracy at 54 words per minute, so that's overall pretty good for me. Hands got a little skewed while typing on there and shifted into the wrong position. Anyways, let's do gaming next. All right, here we are in game. My game of choice for this test will be Black Mesa. And one other quick note here. It doesn't matter which of the two USB ports you have it plugged into for gaming, if you don't care about USB pass-through. Either one works if you don't need USB pass-through. So apparently I have some lighting effects going on. Whenever I key press, I'm getting light shining across. So that may be distracting. It's fine. Oh, I can't fit through there. Okay, well. Boom. Okay, it just shot at me. Oh my. Running through. we're just running around to get a feel for the keyboard. All right, I skipped ahead to get some more action in there. So response time feels pretty good. The keys feel pretty good. The sound could leave a little bit to be desired, especially in the spacebar. It sounds particularly hollow, but everything else feels pretty good. All right, let's keep the action going. Again, this is not a serious playthrough. I'm just joking around. Oh, I'm being shot at. Boom. I like the shotgun. Give me the shotgun again. Oops. So yeah, overall feels pretty good. General kind of conclusion time. So the SteelSeries Apex7 10 keyless, as reviewed on ratings, RTINGs.com, gives it a score of overall 9 for gaming, 8 for office, 8 for programming. Well, ratings lists the keycaps as ABS plastic, which isn't as good as PBT, but it does have shine through, and they overall rate them pretty well at 8.5. Ergonomics, they give a 7.5 because the minimum incline, which is what it's at right now, is 4 inches. You kick up the feet and it sits at 10.5 inches. The backlighting, they scored really well at a perfect score of 10, and I have to agree, the backlighting on it is excellent. The typing quality, they score at an 8, and I would say it's adequate, it's fine. I'm not a typist as my normal day job, and I just really need something that's good enough. And I would say it fits into that category. It's not unpleasant, but probably also not the greatest typing experience ever. The tactileness of this switch is really not there. It feels very linear overall to me. But the travel on them feels pretty good overall. The latency is fairly good. The latency on this keyboard is 6.8 milliseconds. That gives it a score of 8.5 in that category. As a comparison note, the drop shift mechanical keyboard gets a score of 8.8 at 6.2 milliseconds. What does this score mean to you as a gamer? It means it's pretty good, but not quite at the super professional, ultra high-end gaming level. So if you're trying to go pro, this is not the keyboard for you. If you're a casual gamer, it's absolutely perfect. And the program software, they really liked it at 10, and I more or less have to agree with them. It's pretty easy to use, pretty easy to set up the keyboard, and everything like that. So where does that leave us with this keyboard? Well, it's a nice keyboard that has this unfortunate USB 2 cable that requires 2 plugs. If it wasn't wired, because if this cable breaks, this keyboard is trash. And the keycaps are not replaced, or the keycaps are replaceable, but the switches are not. So if you spill your drink onto this keyboard, it will likely ruin it. The software is easy to use. The keyboard feels pretty good to type on. It's very good for gaming. The price is pretty good, around $100. But I personally could not live with it requiring 2 plugs to stick into my computer. It's just kind of unacceptable in 2023. But if this is your price point and you're looking for a very good mechanical keyboard, this might be a good one for you. If you've got a little bit more money to spend, about $20, the Apex 9 might be a better choice. The Apex Pro, I think, is just too expensive for what you're getting. It's $180 last time I looked. And the build quality is near on identical. You don't get USB pass-through, but the plug at the top is replaceable. The lighting effect is all very similar. And it has the fancier key switches that allow you to adjust the travel distance before an input is placed, but it's just much more expensive. I would look at the Apex 9 if you're interested in this keyboard as well. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Like the video, please subscribe for more content, and have a great day.